still reading Boys and Men from Richard Reeves, and I have a couple of passages to read to you. I'm reading from the chapter Dislocated Dads. In June 1955, Adlai Stevens, former Illinois governor and two-time presidential candidate, addressed the all-female graduating class at Smith College. On a warm Massachusetts afternoon, he told them that as future wives, they had an important role to play in ensuring that their husband was truly purposeful to keep him whole. At the time, this seemed an innocuous enough statement, even from the leading progressive of the day. 16 years later, the commencement speech was given by a woman who had been a Smith Jr. when Stevenson spoke. It was markedly different, labeling God as a she, highlighting the political significance of the female orgasm, and most importantly, describing marriage as an institution designed for the subjugation of women. Her name was Gloria Steinem. Okay, so let's get into the meat of it. Until the 1970s, the typical female college graduate had become a wife within 1 year of graduation. Among today's Smith graduates, only about half are married by their mid-30s. A husband may be nice, but he is no longer necessary. Steinem was right about the importance of breaking the economic chains. But, and this is obviously much harder to say, Stevenson was right too. A man who knows he must provide for a wife and children has a clear sense of how to be purposeful. Now, this yellow part. In this chapter, he is talking about, one, the male role has been long culturally defined as that of a provider and based on the economic dependence of mothers on men. 2, the traditional role has been dismantled by securing of economic independence by women. 3, culture and policy are stuck on an obsolete model of fatherhood, lagging way behind the economic reality. And number 4, this is resulting in a dad deficit, with men increasingly unable to fulfill the traditional breadwinner role, but yet to step into a new one. So, the economic reliance on men held women down, but it also propped men up. Now the props are gone and men are failing. This is another part. The point on which both sides agree is that marriage bound women to men, but also men to women, and thereby to the children. This is where the difference is this a good thing? Conservatives say yes, feminists say no. The question is, what do we do now, especially with the men? Because the models are changing and women can work. This whole page is marked up, but you guys can read this. But the part where it says men were tolerably useful when they were providers does need to be explored. So let me read to you this part. This is a continuation of the other part that I was talking about of dislocated dads. The old models of marriage and family based on economic dependency of women on men have largely been deconstructed. This is good news for all the reasons Steinem gave, but even great blessings can be mixed. The traditional way worked well for children, encouraging the creation of fairly stable families, and it was mostly functional for men, mostly functional. As the sole or at least main provider, a man would be joined to a female carer, usually through marriage, but in order to raise the children. The family may be a myth, but it is a myth that works to make many men tolerably useful. Drench worried that without the traditional provider role, men would struggle to get full acceptance and risk anami, I don't know. I'm sorry. We'll have to look that up. And short-termism. Given the difficulties of many men today, this fear cannot be dismissed as scaremongering. So, as long as women were dependent, men had a role. Now that women are independent, men are flailing and failing. This is basically what I'm getting from this. But you guys can weigh in and let me know what you think.